Now, a Russian microsatellite has collided with the wreckage of a decommissioned Chinese satellite that had been floating around since 2007. There is an abundance of space debris up there, and even an object the size of a sugar cube can cause serious damage. Well, with us is RT Sean Thomas. He is the man to consult on this. Sean, should we be worried?
Well, think of it this way. We've been shooting things up into space for more than 50 years now. So there's thousands of objects flying around at 1,000 miles per hour. If they hit anything, it can do some serious damage. Let me talk about this specific event and then talk about the bigger picture. This particular incident talked about space junk from this Chinese satellite that was destroyed in 2007, and then it hit a Russian Blitz satellite. Now, this happened on January 22nd, but it took a while to figure out exactly what happened because scientists discovered that there was a change in the trajectory, change in the orbit of the Russian satellite. They're like, what could have caused this? And then they had to work backwards to try and figure out when this incident happened. And then when they found that, they discovered that there was a near miss of these two, and then they decided that this couldn't have been an actual miss, that it was an actual collision. Now, if you look at the bigger picture, there's about 19,000 pieces of space debris that are larger than 10 centimeters that are being tracked by the world community right now. Why? Because, well, we shoot things into space. We don't want them to come into contact with our satellites that are millions and millions of dollars worth of basically, a commodity, if you will. And so they're being tracked. But there's also more than 300,000 smaller pieces, less than 1 centimeter, just floating around out there as well, thousands of miles per hour. So what happens is that these little pieces of debris cause course corrections and cause the space station and our satellites to have to maneuver and change how they do things. And that costs people on Earth millions of dollars each year. Also, it puts our astronauts in jeopardy as well. We've had many instances recently, more and more becoming frequently, where the astronauts basically have to hide in the ferry of the Soyuz capsule to avoid a piece of space junk that is coming closer to the International Space Station. So there's actually something called the Kessler syndrome as well, where it's a critical mass, if you will. So much space junk, so much space debris out there that we won't be able to even send anything into space anymore. And there's some debate as to whether we've hit that critical mass or not. But as we put more stuff out there, more junk is created, and it becomes more expensive and harder to actually put things up in space.
So what can we do?
What can we do? Well, one thing the European Union is considering is having a more broad tracking system, if you will. They have a special telescope that is designed down in Australia that actually tracks these pieces of debris. So we can keep track of the bigger pieces, which, they can be anything from 10 centimeters to maybe the size of a football or even larger. But even these small, like tiny pieces, less than a centimeter, can do significant damage. So with the smaller pieces, not much you can do. And maybe some future technology that we can develop to try and collect it all. But who knows at this point in time? All we can do is track what we can and hope for the best.
Yeah, for the meantime, it sounds like the problem is still there and we can expect more situations like this. OK, Sean, thank you very much. Sean Thomas.